Hi, Tanya Diamond from TEDx Woodinville, back to let you guys know a little bit more about our speakers behind the scene. I've got Judith with me. And Judith, if you'd take a moment, introduce yourself and then answer that question, why TEDx?
Judith Weigel from Los Angeles, California, divorce mediator, why TEDx? Tanya, I never in a million years thought I would be on a TEDx stage. I love TEDx. I have watched countless TEDx speeches just because they're so informative, engaging, they're riveting. When I look at the titles, I say, how did they think about this? I could never think about this, but it's so good to watch. And then a couple of years ago, I was talking to somebody who books speakers and wanted to book on my podcast. And I said, well, talk to me about public speaking. What does it take? What do you have to do to be a speaker? I'm ready for another direction in my life. I'm ready to scale my life and my business. And she said, listen, if you could nail a TEDx talk, you would be light years ahead of most people who are looking for a professional speaking career. And I said, oh, okay. Now I had to internalize me. Really? I have something to say on that big a stage. And so I thought, well, okay, maybe I do. I started in 2020, Tanya, putting a few applications out, just kind of peppering the waters. And I went back and forth and I didn't have the confidence in my topic that I should have. But somehow in 2023, coming full circle, I came back to that original topic and you liked it. And so that was groovy and cool. When I had the interview with you, and this is how I think the universe takes care of all of us. If your intentions are right and you're speaking from the heart and what you have to say is good and profitable, so to speak, emotionally profitable to people, things will happen. I think there's a reason why it happened with you. I think the way you're handling this, the way you're guiding and instructing is exactly what I needed. And so I think that's really an important piece of TEDx. You can put a lot of applications out to a lot of cities. TEDx isn't going to go away. If you get rejected in one city, believe you can reapproach you. There are many other cities. But I think it's nailing the right city, the right event, the right organizer with the right vibe, don't you?
I 100% agree with you because it's such a wild card behind the scenes. You don't know who the organizer is, what they're looking for. There's no answer to what happens after you apply. And you are right that there's organizers that somehow, some of them just pick by going, oh, that's interesting. Others are more strategic in how they're picking. Some have a desire to have all credentialed speakers on their stage. So it's a wild card back there. And so you're right. I mean, it's like, if you want a TEDx event, you apply to everything and you keep applying until you get on a stage.
Yes, absolutely. And so I did. I tested the waters with different topics, and then I came back to my original topic with a slightly different title because I lived through some other speaking engagements in between, and it worked with you.
Yeah.
So would you like to know on the day of what happened, the day I got
Of
the
course.
invitation?
Absolutely. So when you got that email, what was it like?
That morning, I got rejected from another city.
Okay, so you get the rejection.
I got the rejection. I have my TEDx binder. I have a list of every city and when I applied.
Me too.
And then I check them off as I get rejected.
Me too.
And so you have to be okay with rejection. You can't let that stop you in your tracks. I took out the binder and I put that particular city in its app next to its application, that rejection letter. I keep them all. And I saw TEDx Woodinville and I said, you know what? That gig's for me. I'm getting that gig. And I pulled it out and I put it right on top of the stack, put the binder away, went to do a divorce mediation, came back, looked at my emails, and there was the invitation from TEDx
Wow.
from you. And my heart just raced. I said, oh my God, it actually did work. This was meant to be. This is so exciting. And then you said, now I'm going to guide all of you in our speakers meetings. If you could just please trust me. And I'm like, definitely, I'm trusting you. I will do whatever you say. Make me the right speaker for this event.
Awesome. Well, I love that. It's always, I will tell you that picking was excruciating because there were, I took more speakers than most events take because we're all having tight talks, but it was also hard. I knew that I was going to give some people the yay, and that lit me up. And then some people the, oh, and that was super sad. In fact, one of my best friends got a no. And that was super hard. But I am also, it's not about who you know, how your friendships are. It's about the event. So, okay. So I have 3 classifications of speakers kind of like that are in this event. There's speakers from the wild, and those are people who know nothing, no speaker coaches, nothing. They're just from the wild, and they throw their hat in the ring. Love them all. Most of them never get on an event because they have no strategy. They don't know how to do anything. And they're kind of like, right. There's quite a few speakers from a company called Thought Leader, and then you're from a different coach. And so how did you make a decision to get with somebody, and what did you find how was that helpful in ending up getting a TEDx event?
Incredibly helpful to have a coach who's actually done TEDx talks, knows how it works, but also he was a writer. May I say his name?
Sure. Yeah.
His name is Frank King. Frank is a comedian, so he has a lot of stage work. He's also a writer. He wrote for The Tonight Show when Jay Leno was the host. So he's exceptional at grammar, punctuation, sentence construction. But he also knew how to title things and how to capture people's interest. So that was really great. How I hooked up with him was through the woman who I originally talked to, who booked professional speakers for corporate, who said, if you could nail a TEDx speech, this would be helpful, and let me introduce you to somebody who might be perfect for you. And it was Frank King, and he was perfect for me. Actually, when I put my first shout out on social media that I was invited to TEDx Woodinville, it was a tribute to Frank. I actually thanked him for all of his hard work. And the cool thing about Frank is he's your coach for life. Yeah. You don't have to keep paying him. He's your coach for life. And it's great to have that person to go back to, not only for help structuring the speech, but for moral encouragement, morale building. I mean, it's great for that.
Yeah. And so it is true that all the applications I got, people who had a program or a coach or somebody who's been there definitely understood the process a lot better as far as, looking at an application and kind of what to do. Because I did have people from the wild that were saying things like, I asked for a minute video, right? And I had people showing up and writing things like, I know you asked for a minute, but my topic is too complex for me to give you a minute. And they gave me 5. And that's an automatic, if you don't follow application instructions.
Yes.
You get rejected sometimes, even if you have a great idea, because we also need people that are coachable. We're putting on an event. We need to know that you'll follow directions.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I've watched so many videos, TEDx videos. The thing is, there is an approach, and you can tell there's an approach because there's a point that people are trying to make when they put these TEDx events together. And Frank did say, do not spill over a second. You do exactly what they tell you to do. And some of the applications say, we'll take a generic video, but under X number of minutes. But others want you to say, hello, TEDx and the city.
Right.
So you can't
with no edit, and you don't edit after that. So you add that to all your video because they want to know that you did it just for them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so that was interesting. I'm used to speaking. I've got the podcast. I do fun videos for a very informal social group of people. And I easily talk, but let me tell you the difference in doing a video for a TEDx organizer versus my fun videos and my podcast. It's a completely different experience. And the fact that you have to come across naturally, which means you have to be interested in your talk. You have to have it from the heart. It has to excite you, or it's not going to excite the audience. That was super hard. And then just to feel like, oh my God, but I'm completed. Holy heck. How's the hair? How am I sitting? It's so much all of that. But to get good at that, that was my goal. So
Yeah.
let's just get good at it then, if this is the way it has to be.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I love about the 60-second video is that if you can nail an idea, and you should be able to, because most people have a message, so it's really hard to nail a 60-second video. But if you have an actual idea, you can do that. And TEDx isn't about a generalized message, a tree, it's about a seed. And so, being able to nail that 1 minute to me is also useful in everything. Marketing, elevators, pitches, whatever it is you're doing, like for you, getting on paid stages and stuff. When somebody says, what do you want to speak about? Problem, your connection to it, your solution, you're nailing.
Tom, I love that outline for the 9-minute speech. That was brilliant. I actually sent it to Frank. I said, this is really incredible. And so I wrote it. We did our first draft. We handed it in last week. Your comments were so well taken. I love the fact that you didn't change anything in the first 2 sections, because I really enjoyed the opening. And I figured we would circle back to it at some point. Don't get comfortable, Jude. You never know.
Don't get married. I tell people, don't get married to your talk. Just get hard engaged.
So poignant for me and my business. But the other sections, you're right. You need to get to the point. Less is more. It always is. And if you can say something in a sentence instead of a paragraph, people can remember it. It goes to the heart and the head. And we're not great at that. That takes practice to do. And yeah. I value doing that.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No, you're so welcome. Yeah, I know that I'm putting a lot of people under a wow, you're talking about 700 words or 750 words. That means every word has to count. And if you're saying it and have to say it again, you didn't say it right the first time. So it's like, how do we actually just land that plane on what we're trying to say? Yeah. Is I think important. And I do believe that every speaker that goes through this process will end up being a better speaker overall out into the world, because they'll realize what they're filling up with and what fluff they're laying around stuff that just, you're right, distracts, clutters the audience's mind as well. So.
Absolutely. I found myself when I was doing the first draft, I was completely enjoying the writing. Well, I am a writer, so I enjoy writing, but this is a specific kind of writing. Being asked to change, okay, that's a good challenge. Trusting that the change was for a very good end, that has to be. And I found myself enjoying the rewrite. Okay, how can I make this tighter? How can I get my point across? And not repeating myself. That's really a great exercise. It is. And so for anybody who's even had an inkling of an idea to go after TEDx or do any kind of writing, the exercise of practicing writing is invaluable, because you get to organize your thoughts in a different way.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Awesome. All right. So you're enjoying that. What is your hope once you hit that stage and you've delivered your talk? What is the bigger mission that you hope to accomplish? What do the audience, you can't giving away your talk, but what do you want the audience to really feel and the impact that you want this to make?
I really want it to help them. So without giving away the theme or the point, the name of the talk, it is something to help people's lives in a very dire time. And I want to give them hope. I want them to know that if you think differently about this, it will completely change what you're going through now. And it will. I've seen it. It will. So that I hope to do. And I want them, while I'm talking to them, to feel unburdened.
Hmm.
I want them to be relaxed and hopeful, but to feel lighter about this time that they either might be in or about to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know that all of us that get TEDx's or want a TEDx, we have two reasons. We have the authority badge reason, because that's just real, right? I mean, being a TEDx speaker is awesome sauce. But I know that the passion that's fueling that isn't just that TEDx authority. It's what you're talking about.
No, it really has to come from within. You have to want to make a difference in the world. I mean, it's on every TEDx application. How are you going to make the world? And this is how I want to make a difference in the world in this one regard. I want to say one little thing, the badge of authority. I love that phrase. I've spent my life, Tanya, behind the scenes promoting entertainers. Before I got into the business that I'm in now, divorce mediation, promoting entertainers. And I was very comfortable with that. I love doing that. And so now I'm the one on the stage. It's a very different feeling. The day I got that, got the invitation from you, I had to process that for a second. And what does that really mean, that I was able to be invited to a stage? It was a different it was a different feeling of community. And it was a feeling of community. It's a small community. As many TEDx speeches as there have been in TEDx events, it's still a small community compared to the number of people in the world.
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed that community and how I can benefit from it personally. That's what I'm looking at. How can I learn from everybody else in my community?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the reasons that you got picked, other than your great idea, is also the person that you are, and adding to the TEDx Woodinville family community. Because as you know, from the meetings we've been in, that I am definitely wanting the speakers to support each other through this journey, see how they can reach out and help, see what they can help build that feeling, so that when you all are there for the day and the event is going on, you feel like a family and that you want to help each other and the rest of the world. And so you clearly come through with that.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm picking my way through the group. I've already met with a couple people and I will continue to do so. Just want to know a little bit more about them and why they chose the talk they did, but also people can teach me things. I am not the technological wizard, but maybe you think I am. So yes, I've connected with a couple people for technological help.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like the fact that our members will step up and want to help people too, because that's super awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for today. We're going to do some more later at a different time, but I really appreciate your time today and letting people kind of get to know a little bit about you as you're headed to the TEDx stage.
Woohoo! I can't wait. Every day is a journey of love. And thank you so much, Tanya, for this opportunity.
You're welcome.